So as you all may know, the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, released on November 11 at 10 AM Eastern Time, and saying it was a disaster is a bit of an understatement to describe how much of a cesspool of a melting hot garbage mess it really is. Just hours after the game's launch, Rockstar's in-house launcher was put into offline mode because apparently their servers were in need of maintenance. As to what the maintenance is needed for, no details were given to the public. But as a billion-dollar company, Rockstar should have taken preventive measures against this, considering this isn't the first time they've launched a game in their launcher. Red Dead Redemption 2 was released on the PC 2 years ago, and it too had suffered on its launch day. Are you telling me that Rockstar, a billion-dollar company with so much resources and talent behind their teams, wasn't able to learn from this? So that's not the only news regarding the Definitive Edition. Apparently, Rockstar decided to pull the games for PC from its store because of the issues with its launcher. And people all over the community are posting their terrible experiences with the games, ranging from glitches, graphical issues, and just downright complaints with how the character models look. Gee, where have we seen this before? Now, as I said before in this channel, that when I saw the trailer for the Definitive Edition, I thought the character models looked okay, and that I really liked it because they have this cartoony feel that is more reflective of the art style that you could see in the game's original box art. But with what I have seen from the game and what I've been seeing from the posts of other people, I am now inclined to agree that yeah, it looks really janky and quite ugly at times. But what I can't believe is that Rockstar essentially pulled a CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk 2077 over our heads. And this is due to one central reason: a lack of communication. If you look at the Rockstar Games YouTube channel, you would notice that they only released 2 trailers prior to the release date of the game. The Definitive Edition Coming Soon trailer and the actual trailer, both of which only show the artwork and snippets of some content coming from the 3 games. Aside from that, you could also see the screenshots posted on their site, further advertising the look of the games from a graphical standpoint. And that's it. No gameplay previews or trailers whatsoever. This lack of any gameplay showcase had players wondering what the actual game is going to look like. It certainly had me downright wondering if they'll pull through with what they shown in the actual trailer. You could argue that it's the same game from 17 to 20 years ago, so there really isn't anything new, and I would strongly disagree with that. Rockstar themselves pointed out that there would be enhancements to further improve the player experience when playing these games. Sure, from a technical standpoint, they might play the same or even downright identical, but that's not the point. What they have on their site are just words on paper and nothing really concrete. They say that elements from GTA 5 were being implemented to these games from a gameplay standpoint, but how those elements are going to be incorporated remained unseen in the duration prior to the release date. What's more, the lack of gameplay previews or trailers denied the community to give feedback to places where the game could have been further polished before being released. This leads me to think that even Rockstar themselves are not confident with the Definitive Edition, that they didn't go all out with the advertising and showcasing of the games. Meanwhile, they pride themselves with the enhanced gameplay or explosive action of their upcoming, much anticipated GTA 5 for the next-gen consoles. And I'm pretty sure that Rockstar themselves even thought that the Definitive Edition was atrocious because of my next point. As of the recording of this video, if you type GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition Review or Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Definitive Edition Review, you'll notice that none of the major gaming outlets like IGN or GameSpot have put out a review yet. If you ever come across a review of the game, chances are the reviewer has played around 1 to 10 hours of the games, or they are discussing about the performance of the games in a specific console, which is fair because this is a remaster and people are more interested on what's improved, changed, and whatnot. And there's a reason for this. It is because there weren't any review codes given to these gaming outlets and our people, and have just acquired the game the same with all of us, which was on the launch date. Now, there were people who have acquired the game early, but apparently this was an oversight from Rockstar's side, as pre-orders from the PlayStation Store unlocked the game too early instead of just preloading it causing them to pull the game out from the PlayStation Store as well. If you're not concerned, then you should be. Rockstar usually allows gaming outlets to review their games at least a day ahead of the release date. But now that I think about it, they do it only for games that they are confident enough that will sell well, because it's less about convincing consumers to buy their game but more on reaffirming their goodwill to their players and taking advantage of that since their brand is associated with quality. I'm just really disappointed on how Rockstar is just handling this. But to hammer home that point, let me bring you to my next, point. During this entire mess, Rockstar has been radio silent and have instead been putting out bot-sounding messages. They never really announced, gave a heads up, or some sort of notification that their launcher would be offline, considering that their launcher is very vital to playing their games because without it, their games would be basically unplayable. Not only that, they haven't even released a reason for the said maintenance and have not put up any updates for more than 24 hours since they announced it. They didn't even give some kind of estimated time of when the maintenance would be finished, or at least how long the maintenance would go on. As of recording this video, it seems that the launcher is now online, but is unable to allow players to play the GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition as expected, since they pulled the games out of the store. And apparently it is due to some files being unintentionally included in the versions of the games. This is Rockstar, a multi-billion-dollar company. Where is the due diligence on your part? Was this a scheme all along? Was the launcher available long enough to take the money out of our pockets and then take it down once you had your pots full of them? Now obviously I am just exaggerating, but by now you can tell I'm really frustrated at Rockstar. Ultimately, I think this is the fault of the higher management at Rockstar. They had the final call of whether to release the games in its unfinished and unpolished state, and who knows the pressures they must have put on their employees to meet whatever expectations they were trying to achieve. I just hope they can fix whatever it is that needs to be fixed, as there are a lot of them. And yeah, that's about it. Bye, gamers.